Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. My name is Nick O'Leary, and today, January the 1st, 2021, Happy New Year to you all. I hope you had an amazing Christmas break, but we're in the new year now, so today marks the first day of a video for my channel, and of course, just like last year, I uploaded on a Friday at 4 p.m. I'll continue to do that this year, starting today. So 2021, an interesting year because we're drawing ever closer to a thing that Mercedes-Benz announced not that long ago. And here's what they said. By 2022, the entire Mercedes product range is set to be electrified. There will be electric alternatives in every segment from smart to SUV, with well in excess of 130 variants in total, ranging from 48-volt onboard electrical system with EQ boost to plug-in hybrids to all electric vehicles with battery or fuel cell. So what does that mean? Well, of course everyone knows about petrol and a diesel engine, and you may have heard of a hybrid before. So Mercedes-Benz are introducing all-electric battery vehicles and of course hybrids into the range as well. Now, as of today, January 1st, 2021, Mercedes-Benz actually have 16 plug-in hybrids, and they're growing in popularity day by day as the days go on. So we're going to go through one that's just over here at the back, a GLA 250e. So what makes this model so special? The fact it's called a GLA plays a huge part in that, because it's GL, which is Geländewagen in German, meaning off-road utility vehicle, and then the A part of GLA means it's based on the A-Class. And the A-Class is Mercedes-Benz's most popular model in the recent years. So you can get a hybrid in the A-Class range. It's called an A250e. But whenever you add any hybrid technology or anything like that, you will lose boot space. Just a tiny bit though. So in the A-Class, the battery of course goes underneath the floor at the back in the boot. So you can lift up the load floor at the back, but you can't lift it up fully because right at the back underneath is where the battery is. So this, the GLA, is the answer to everyone's problems if you need a bigger boot, because lengthways and widthways, it doesn't really change too much. Where it does change is its height. So its length is 4,410 millimeters, its width is 2,020 millimeters, and then its height, this is where it's different, 1,611 millimeters. Now compared to the A-Class, as I said, it is very, very similar. It's the height that's different. So that means you get a bigger boot and more space for your passengers on the inside. Now boot capacity, because the car is slightly higher, you do get a nice practical boot. That weighs in at 445 litres, and then if you put the seats down, it can extend to 1,385 litres. Now the engine found in the GLA 250e is actually a 1.3 litre petrol engine, and that puts out 160 horsepower. But that's not with the hybrid system as well. That's just the engine for a 1.3 litre, 160 horsepower. It's insane. But if you add the hybrid system as well, that adds a further 102 horsepower to the mix as well. So suddenly you've got a really high performance car that is capable of really reduced running costs. So I can see obviously why hybrids are really, really appealing to people. Now the battery system is a 10.6 kilowatt hour battery, which allows you to charge from anything around about 5.5 hours to just under 2 hours. It does depend what cable you're using and of course the charge point that you're plugging into. For example, the GLA 250e in here at the moment is plugged directly into the mains. That's a domestic socket, the 3-pin socket, the one you have in your house. That's the slowest charge. If you use a wall box, then that will be classed as a fast charge. So 2.3 kilowatts and 7.2 kilowatts from a wall box. Ideally, if you want the fast charge, then you'll be using the wall box. Hopefully you can get one installed in your house, but most public chargers are that charging speed. Now, range goes up to 37 miles when fully charged. Obviously, just bear in mind that's in the ideal conditions. So if you do travel during rush hour and you hit some traffic, or you have your heating or air conditioning on, then your range will be reduced. But quite cleverly, the system actually kind of predicts what your range is going to be. So this is going to be fully charged soon, but it might not show 37 miles because the previous journeys may have been quite short and you may have been experiencing traffic and stuff like that. So just like a petrol or diesel engine, when you fill it up or when you charge it up, you'll see the range will adjust accordingly based on how it's been driven before. So it's quite clever. Now, while we're on the topic of engines, I thought it might be a good idea to cover off a thing called Dynamic Select. Now, Dynamic Select is the drive mode that you can choose for your driving experience behind the wheel. So in a GLA 250e, there are 6 to choose from. I'm just going to go through 5 today because that 6th one is a thing called individual, which lets you customize your own mode. So more advanced things, so I'll save that for maybe some tips and tricks somewhere, but we'll cover those 5 very briefly today. So by default, when you get in the car, it's going to start up in Comfort. Comfort will use the electric motor and the battery first, and when that runs out, it will switch over to the engine. There is another mode called Electric, which runs on electric only. The difference between the two, Comfort will use the electric motor first, but on the accelerator pedal, if you press down fairly hard and go past like the 70% mark, it'll switch on the engine to help give you a bit more power. But because it's in Comfort, it's going to change the gears smoothly and give you smooth kind of power delivery as you accelerate. Now, Electric, slightly different, although it will run on electric just like Comfort. Electric will stay on electric only, but on the accelerator pedal, when you press down past that same point compared to Comfort, so about the 70% mark, you'll find there's a bit of resistance. It won't let you go past that point. You can push past that and then it will do the same thing, but Electric just kind of encourages you to kind of stay on electric all the time. Now, moving down, there's another mode called Battery Level. Battery Level will keep the battery level where it is right now. So why would you want to use that? Well, let's cover off depending on different driving scenarios. So say you live in the country and there is no traffic because you're not living in an urban or city environment or anything like that. So you might start your journey on battery level. It's going to use the engine and it will save that battery level for a future point in your journey, and you choose this. So I've got it on battery level now. If I drove out now, it would stay on 100% until I switch it to electric. And you might want to do that maybe for if you go into London or like a city, a really built up area where you're going to get lots of traffic, maybe during rush hour or something. Now those are kind of more advanced driving hybrid techniques, but you don't have to do that stuff, it's just there as an option. Underneath that is a thing called Eco, very similar to Comfort. It's going to use electric first, but in this mode you'll find it will change gear as quickly as possible and reduce some things like air conditioning and reduce the power from your engine. So 160 horsepower gets reduced a bit, and the 102 horsepower from the electric motor and the battery is also going to be reduced a bit as well. Now, on the opposite side of that is a mode called Sport. So that will use the engine, max power, and the electric motor and battery, max power as well, to help you overtake or do some sporty driving. So that's what the Dynamic Select modes do. So equipment wise, on the GLA 250e, as standard, you get a thing called Exclusive Edition. So just straight out of the box is GLA 250e Exclusive Edition. If you want to add some extra things, then you'll be looking at Exclusive Edition Premium or Exclusive Edition Premium Plus. Now I won't go into too much detail on those just because they can vary from country to country. But as standard in the UK, you do get smartphone integration, which is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So that allows you to plug your phone in via the USB-C ports. If you don't have a USB-C connector for your phone, you can get the dongle, which I'll put down in the description down below. That allows you to then plug your phone in. Also, one thing to note is the screen size. So this is a common question that does get asked. On the left-hand side, so the main screen where you have your sat-nav, radio, media, that is a 10.25-inch screen as standard. Now on the right-hand side, which is on the instrument cluster where you see your speed and fuel and range, as standard that's a 7-inch screen, so it's slightly smaller. If you want to upgrade that, you'll need to go for the exclusive edition premium, which then gives you two 10.25-inch screens. So 10.25-inch screen is standard on the left, but 7 on the right. But if you want to upgrade, go for the premium one, and that will give you two 10.25-inch screens. Other things that are standard are parking sensors, reversing camera, even heated seats, and that pre-entry climate control for turning on your heating via the Mercedes Me app, which is quite cool. So Premium and Premium Plus on those exclusive edition packages will add extra things. So just briefly covering them off, they will add things like ambient lighting for the inside, keyless entry to unlock and lock without actually fumbling around for keys. You can quite simply put your hand behind the handle and it will unlock. And then other things like sunroof, so that's a panoramic sunroof, fully electric seats, and even a thing called multi-beam LED, which is a very fancy system which adapts and moves the headlights up and down in certain sections depending on the road. And I'll put a little link up above just to show you how that multi-beam LED works, because it's kind of cool to see what it does. So guys, just to finish off, hybrids. Why do they exist? Well, basically in the UK, in 2030, you will not be able to buy a petrol or diesel car on its own, maybe even not a hybrid as well. So then everyone's going to have to buy electric cars from new. You'll still be able to buy used cars, petrol and diesel, but new cars will be strictly electric only. So until that point, you can get a car like a hybrid, which is the best of both worlds. It has electric, so you can try out electric driving and plug it in and try that kind of experience out. But you've also got the engine as a backup as well. So you don't have to plug it in to complete your journey, which is the idea of a hybrid. You get the best of both worlds. Now, of course, guys, it was just a quick look at the GLA 250e today. If you liked today's video, don't forget that like button and do hit that subscribe button if you want to see any more future videos just like this. And being the first video of 2021, we'll see you all next week.